Alright, hey everyone. So I want to talk about this year's Super Bowl coming up on February 12th, 2023. It will be Super Bowl 57. But to begin with, I want to talk about Skull and Bones, the secret society at Yale University. And I just want to point out that you can see that they were formed in the year 1832. So this year that will make them 191 years old. Not too sure on what month or day exactly. I didn't really look for that. But just to see that the 191 is there in the year that we're in right now for them. Being that many years old. And just the importance of 191 being the 43rd prime number, because 43 is definitely important with this year's Super Bowl, which I'll get to in a minute. But just remembering that football is credited to Walter Camp, the former, Skull and Bones member. They called him the father of American football. So Walter Camp, definitely, it's just interesting seeing his birthday. Like, you can go on about his birthday being 4/7 and how the NFL didn't have their first Super Bowl until the 47th season of the NFL's existence. But just going back to 191, so that's the 43rd prime number. In gematria, football equals 43, like Yale equals 43. This year, the Super Bowl is going to be held on the 43rd day of the year, but it's also the day leaving 322 days left in the year. And, relating back again to Skull and Bones, which identifies by the number 322. So definitely a huge tribute to Freemasonry in this year's Super Bowl, which I feel there's a lot riding with Andy Reid and his connections with Freemasonry. But I've been talking about that on my notes and on my Patreon, which we'll get more into probably this weekend about. But so yeah, just noticing that the Super Bowl is on the 43rd day of the year this year. And, it's... Anyways, so I want to recall a Sunday night football game, October 2nd of earlier this season in 2022. You had the Kansas City Chiefs defeating the Tampa Bay Bucks, and the Chiefs win with 41 points, which is interesting because that's one of the biggest numbers when you talk about the Super Bowl, because Super Bowl equates to 41 in the most pure cipher. And so seeing that, but then also realizing, if you want to go back and look, because this was in my notes too, this was pointed out because Zach did a live stream on this exact night of this game, but he pointed out too that Tom Brady, that was his 322nd regular season game on October 2nd. And what else was interesting that I had in my notes was Mahomes gave Brady his 75th regular season loss in that game. And what really stands out about that is because the night of this Sunday Night Football, you also had the news headlines of the death of Sacheen Littlefeather. And obviously you can see that she represents, well, she's actually considered to be a Native American activist. There's a lot of controversy with her even really having Native American heritage background. It's kind of hard to find like what is to be true reading things on the internet and such, but supposedly even her sister came out and said that they were of Hispanic descent, and the family was in awe of her identifying as Apache and such. But anyways, the point is she was representing, or she is an activist for the Native Americans, or she was. But so seeing that Mahomes had given Tom Brady his 75th regular season loss, what was interesting was Littlefeather had passed away at the age of 75. And so anyways, so what I want to get to first is, notice she was born on November 14th, and she died on that night, October 2nd. So if you ran from her previous birthday to the day that she died, it was exactly 322 days after her birthday. So again, the number we're talking about with 322 with this year's Super Bowl being on the day leaving 322 days left in the year, or the 43rd day of the year, or you can say she died 43 days to her upcoming birthday. So I mean, just to see the alignment with her, just with those numbers definitely stands out. But so her dying at the age of 75, the night Brady got his 75th loss. I just want to point out that her surname that she identified and went by, Littlefeather, equates to 75. And thinking of masonry, order equals 75. But then notice that her birth name is actually a Marie Louise Cruz, and taking her first and last name, Marie Cruz, equates to 57, like how this is Super Bowl 57, but the 75 being a reflection of 57. What I found interesting right now, currently, before the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes has a record of 74-19 in the regular season and playoffs in his whole career. So all time he's 74-19. So if he wins the Super Bowl, he'll get his 75th win. And it just reminds of like how she died at 75, and on that, just her alignment, the way she died, 322, 43, those numbers being really relevant with the Super Bowl this year. So that was my whole main gist of this video, is just to point that out, like what are the odds of all of that even aligning, right? But there is a little bit more, because looking at her, and if you're not aware of who she was, other than her being an activist, she's most remembered from the 45th Academy Awards, which took place in 1973. So what was interesting about that is the date of that awards ceremony, which I'm not going to remember right now, but they had that, actually, let's just do it, 1973, so I don't have to guess about it. Academy Awards. Okay, it was on March 27th, 1973, but what was funny about that was this year, it was also on that same day. What do we call it? Yeah, Academy Awards of 2022. I just want to point out it was on the same day, March 27th. It was just 49 years difference, right? And another big Super Bowl number, because Super Bowl equates to 49, like America equals 49, like how they say football is America's game. NFL equals 49. So I mean, what were just seeing how it was all aligning. And then what else was interesting was the Academy Awards sent a letter of apology to Littlefeather on September 17th this year. And you know what September 17th is? That's Patrick Mahomes' birthday. And the reason for the apology was just because she got, just the way she was treated, I guess, that supposedly at the Academy Awards, which I don't really want to get into all that, but just the fact that that date was even a big deal at the time when it happens to be Patrick Mahomes' birthday. But anyways, so the day that she actually passed away, and the night of that Sunday night football game, running that date to the Super Bowl this year, it is exactly a difference of 133 days, just like how football equates to 133. So football equates to 43 and 133 out of the 4 base ciphers. What else was I going to point out here? Oh, it's okay. So not only is it 133 days exactly, it's also, or you can say it's 19 weeks difference. And just to go back up here to Mahomes' all-time record, He's on, 19 losses currently. That definitely stands out. And then what would have been her 76th birthday, which she didn't make it to, November 14th, even if you wanted to run that date to the Super Bowl, it's exactly 90 days difference, and which reminds of October 2nd, the day that she died, was the day leaving 90 days left in the year, just like how Native American equals 90. And, just even talking about 90, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're currently in their 90th season as a franchise. So, that stands out. And it also kind of just reminded me of how Native American, when you run it in reverse, Native American equals 243. And just recall that the Chiefs ended up winning the Super Bowl when America was 243 years old. And, currently America's 246 years old. But, just to see how the numbers come together. But anyways, that was the main point of my video, was the 75 and just recalling her death. At age 75, Mahomes could possibly pick up that 75th win. But yeah, just, again, like these sacrifices that are made every day for all these different reasons in the entertainment world, and people just don't seem to realize. But dates, numbers, it's too obvious once you start to pick it up, just anyways. But yeah, we'll leave it there. See ya.